years ago, it became obvious to me that the world is beautiful because of diversity. I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's all this beautiful diversity, and people are missing it. They're not seeing it. You know, and when I looked at the notion of a divine presence, of a divine mind, I realized that God is a God of diversity. You know, God is diverse. That's why different cultures and different peoples understand God in different ways. So we can have a sense of how amazing and beautiful and infinite God can be. You know, because we can see different faces, different ways of understanding something that is to us inconceivable. I mean, we can't understand God because God is so big. I mean, we look at pictures of the Hubble that took of galaxies, you know, thousands of galaxies in just a little tiny space, thousands of galaxies, and then we worry about what God looks like. You know, how does that work? Why do we do that? I mean, God is beautiful. God is diverse and infinite. The universe is a reflection of God. So it occurred to us that the way to understand God is to celebrate diversity and celebrate the many faces of God and the many ways that God speaks to us and shares with us and reflects God's presence or divine presence into the world. So, and there are many people who, over time, over generations and centuries and eons, have brought divine presence into the world and divine understanding, and they're all reflections of one mind, one divine presence. And when we start to understand that, then we start to understand that we are all one people, that we aren't, you know, from this country and this race and that race and this orientation and that orientation, that we are by nature all connected because we are all spirit by nature, connected to divine presence, connected to divine mind, connected to each other because we are infinite. And so once we start to understand that, and once we start to understand that there is no one way or right way in a world of diversity, beautiful diversity, there can't be, because the universe is amazingly rich and enriching because of its differences. So we become enriched by understanding that and looking at that. And also we become enriched by looking at a God with many faces and understanding that this God with many faces is only a small reflection of what a divine mind truly is. So, and can we understand it? Not at all. Not a chance. You know, am I going to try and explain to people what God is or what divine mind is? Never. Can't do it. Not possible. But I can start to try and understand it by understanding that the universe is bigger than I can imagine. You know? And therefore God is bigger than I can imagine. And that there's no point in us fighting and arguing about, you know, the minutiae of what God is, because God is all those things. And we're all connected, and we are one family, one people, one mind, really. Although we don't act it all the time. So I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I've been able over the years to work with Spirit and to grow through Spirit and to become aware of that presence that's there in a way that's meaningful and purposeful. I mean, if I just talked to Spirit and didn't mean anything to anybody, I'd be a crazy person. Wouldn't make any sense, you know. So, but fortunately, thank God, I'm not a crazy person. Thank God it makes some sense out there in the world, you know, when I'm working with Spirit. And thank God it's concrete for me, you know. I'm pretty grounded, you know. I'm not, I work very hard not to be space cadet-y, you know, because being space cadet-y isn't very useful. You know, what's useful is being grounded and choosing to be of service in a meaningful, purposeful way, and to love people and to love empowering people to become all they can be.